So you're new to the Left 4 Dead fandom. Here is a little beginner's guide, so you know how to play. The people who made the game franchise is Valve, basically the same company that had also made Team Fortress 2, Half-Life, and Portal. Now, what is Left 4 Dead about? Well, Left 4 Dead is a first-person survival game based on the zombie genre, as many games such as Dying Light and Dead Island. What's the plot? You play as 4 survivors, and you have to get them to a safe house while shooting away dangerous zombies. How did the apocalypse happen? Well, it's all because of a virus called the Green Flu. The consoles it can be played on is either a PC or an Xbox 360 because it came around in 2008, 2009. Who are the survivors? Part 1 for the first game. First we have William Overbeck, or Bill for short. He is a retired Vietnam War veteran. He is the leader of the group. He tends to smoke a lot, and he is no nonsense. His main weapon is an automatic rifle, most likely an M16 from the looks of it. Then we have Francis. He was a fired Hirsch shipping employee turned an outlaw biker. He's the fighter of the group. He is known for being brash and tends to hate on a lot of things. And his main weapon is a shotgun, and most likely a pump or an auto one. Then we have Lewis. He was an IT analyst. He is the group's brains. He is known for his keen intellect and high optimism. And his main weapon is a submachine gun, so basically like an Uzi or something. And then finally we have Zoe, who was a college student, is basically the youngest of the group. She is the group's gun woman. After Bill's death in the first game, spoiler alert, she becomes very serious, yet sometimes angry. And her main weapon is dual pistols. Who are the survivors for the second game? Well, we have Coach. Basically, he is a high school health and PE teacher, as his name implies. He is the leader of the group. He is very optimistic and brave, like Lewis. And his main weapon is a Spaz shotgun. Then we have Nick. He is a bouncer for a club turned into a con artist. He is the group fighter, or in many cases, the complainer, because he would often show his sarcasm. He has been known to have a violent past and has a gambling addiction, and his main weapon is the automatic rifle he has. Rochelle. She was a news reporter. She is the grouped intellect. She is shown to be respectable and sensible, and has a love for the band Depeche Mode, as seen on her shirt. And her main weapon is a submachine gun. And finally we have Ellis. He was a former junior auto repairman. He is the group's gunman. He is very friendly and likes to tell stories of his cousin Keith, who one time tried to deep fry a turkey, but we're not going to go into that because it's a very long story. And his preferred weapon is dual pistols. Next, we have the infected. It was all thanks to the green flu that turned them into zombies. Some of them have their own special mutations. There are 8 special infected. And so we have this thing called a danger scale. How the danger scale works is that we will talk about the infected based on their appearance, sounds, attack methods, and way to kill them. I will be ranking them from this is barbecue chicken, meaning easy, to, in the great words of Zoe, in the opening cinematic, run like hell. Alright, first we have the normal infected. How we distinguish them is because they could be any gender, they have different clothes, and they look like normal people. They usually communicate with growls and snarls, and their attack methods is basically the usual biting and clawing zombie things, but when they are attracted to a loud noise, they will swarm and overwhelm players in a group called a horde. How we kill them? Due to them being normal zombies, any weapon you have is good. Most preferably, the head is their weak point. Alright, up next we have our first special infected. And probably the weakest, the jockey. How we can distinguish a jockey? Well, for one, they have a hunchback, similar to Quasimodo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. They wear a tank top and boxer briefs, and they have elongated limbs. The sounds they make is usually a bunch of maniacal cackles, like the Joker, or that was voiced by Mark Hamill, or a hyena, like Shenzi, Banzai, and Ed from The Lion King. The attack method, basically, given its namesake, jockey is hop on and ride on the back of their victim while steering them and clawing their faces. Oftentimes, they will steer them into a witch or spitter acid, whatever the case may be. It's basically like a little rodeo for them. How to kill? Due to the jockey's small stature, the best way is to crouch low and use a rapid-fire weapon such as an automatic rifle. Up next we have the boomer. How we can distinguish them is basically they have these grotesque bloated bellies. They wear a blue shirt and jean pants, and they are covered in grotesque warts. They sound like really sluggish. They often communicate with gurgles and belches, kind of like Barney here. Their main attack method is that first they will projectile vomit on you as if they were part of the Exorcist movie. Their second attack method is that, as their name implies, they will explode and spray bile on death, basically like a Voltorb using self-destruct kind of move. How to kill? Basically, you got to keep your distance. It's in fire so you don't get sprayed with a puke explosion. Up next, we have the smoker. How we can distinguish a smoker is because they have a notoriously long tongue. They wear a green shirt and long pants, and half of their face is swollen and covered in boils. They sound like they are coughing and wheezing like a chain smoker because, well, for one, their lungs are full of smoke. So what do you expect? Their main attack method is basically they have these long tongues that they can use to strangle survivors, like a garrote wire or a noose, something in like Agent 47 would do. And their attack method is basically upon death they will unleash a toxic smoke cloud, kind of like a really bad gender reveal, well, if you ask me. Basically, how to kill them is that if one of the players is ensnared, the best thing to do is to chop off its tongue with a melee weapon, most preferably a fire axe, and get your distance to take the shot. Charger. How we can distinguish a charger is because they have a huge swollen arm and a tiny left arm. They wear overalls and they have green scaly skin. It sounds like they are a severely pissed off bull. Well, their attack method is, as the name implies, it will charge you and tackle you, basically like Bobby Boucher from The Water Boy, after you tell him that Gatorade is better than water. Attack method 2 is that it will grab you with its right arm and slam you down numerous times. Basically a puny god kind of move from the Avengers. The best way to kill it is to use a melee weapon before he charges you, like take to the sides and attack with everything you have. Spitter. How we can distinguish a spitter is because they have burned gaping mouths. They wear a bra and torn pants, and they have somewhat of a tiny pot belly going on around. The sounds they make are similar to these shrieking noises and spitting noises like a loogie almost. As their name implies, they spit really caustic acid, like a spitting cobra would do to its venom. How to kill these things is that you gotta keep your distance and use a fast-paced weapon. Hunter. How we can distinguish a hunter is that they have blood-stained lips, they're infamous for their blue hoodies and tape-on joints, and they have really sharp claws. The sounds like they are extremely feral, basically loud snarls and growls, and it will scream once it pounces. Basically, the first attack method is that it will lunge toward you or jump off of a tall place to get to you. Basically like some kind of Assassin's Creed bullcrap going on. Then it will proceed to beat you up as if he was Brian Fury from Tekken. How to kill? The best thing to do is crouch and fire with a rapid weapon, similar to the jockey. Alright, this next one is like something that came out of a horror movie. We call these things witches. Basically, they have long claws or fingers. They appear to be only in their bra and underwear. And they have pasty skin and long, dirty blonde hair. The sounds, it's known to cry a majority of the time. I don't blame her. She's partially dead. But when they are startled by a bright light or a loud sound, she will growl furiously and let out blood-curdling screams. Thank God her voice actress is an opera singer. Kudos to her. Her attack method is that even though she's usually passive, she will attack upon being startled and will run at incredible speeds and use her sharp claws, basically like Lady Deathstrike in the X-Men movies. The easiest way to kill is this method called crowning. So basically, you sneak up behind her while she's huddled up in the corner, and then you blow her head off with a shotgun. Finally, we have the tank. How we distinguish these badasses is that they have huge muscular bodies, they're shirtless and wear jean pants, and it's built and moves like a gorilla. Basically, the sounds it makes, these extremely angry, growling, grunting, and snarling noises, as if it's like the Hulk. Fun fact, they have the same VA, Fred Tatasciore, kudos to him. Its attack method is that it will punch you really hard if you're close. Basically, it's like the Mike Tyson of zombies. Attack method 2, it will throw either a car or a rock at you. Basically like the Bobby Orlando, using any random object he finds as a basketball. You can find him on TikTok. The best method to kill him is to use something flammable, so like a gas tank or a Molotov cocktail. Give it about 15 seconds, and you have yourself a good tank burger. The spawn cues are in the link in the description below. Yes, you can tell which one is coming. What it teaches us? Many people say nothing, but it teaches us how to work together as a team. In conclusion, it's a very good game. I recommend you play it. This is the Invisible Inenra signing out.